Hello! So, today I am going to be cooking pasta puttanesca, and I'm going to be doing it with one hand and my non-dominant hand, so my left hand. Here we go. Okay, so the first thing that I'm doing after I've cleaned these tomatoes off is I'm going to squeeze all of the seeds and juice out. So you can, I have an apron on, you can wear an apron or you can just wear an old t-shirt or something because this stuff likes to go everywhere. You can also use tinned tomatoes too. I just think these taste really nice. And this is in the Rick Stein recipe, and it's easier than dealing with opening a tin. And I'm just putting them in this bowl here. Okay, so this will take a while, but it is really fun. I swear, there's something satisfying about popping these. Okay, so I used a tip from Kate Ryan on YouTube, who has had a stroke and uses one hand to open jars. So you run the jar under hot water, like this. You don't need to do it for a long time. Just enough to loosen it a little bit. And you flip the jar upside down like this, and you take a knife, just a butter knife, and you get it in between the lid there. And it's just enough. You'll hear a little pop and you'll see that the seal has been broken. So that was step one. My problem is now I cannot open this jar. Even though the seal is broken, I still just don't have the strength, the grip in my hand to open it. Another thing I'm gonna try is hitting around this entire lid. Now I'm gonna hit it pretty hard, so okay, as you can see, I have fairly dented this jar. Okay, let's try to open it now. Oh, yes, amazing. Okay, I really had to whack it. You can see all these dents here with this part of the knife. Okay, whew, guys, that was a challenge. All right, so we've got the capers now, and it says, I think it's 50 grams of these, and there's 125. So what we want to do is, it says rub off the excess salt. And I'm just gonna put the kitchen towel over it to get some of that salt off, because with the capers and the anchovies, you will have plenty of salt. Okay, all right. So moving on to the garlic cloves, we need 3 cloves. I know that they do have garlic cloves already out of the garlic itself, out of the bowl, but I'm really challenging myself today to do as much as I can with one hand when it isn't easy. Because the whole point of this, right, is if you go to the supermarket, and right now they might not have individual garlic already out, so you might have to do it this way. Okay, that wasn't so bad. 2. Okay, cutting things right. So typically I would take both my hands, hold this down, and hit it with my other hand, but I can't do that. So I'm going to use something else to break this off. All right, and I'm gonna use just a cup, and I'm gonna just hit it. And hopefully that'll be enough to just break it out of its, there we go, okay. I'll do that with this one. Okay. That just comes off like that. Okay. This one. All right, now we're gonna do the chopping. Obviously, I don't have a fancy cutting board, but I have seen the cutting boards out there, like the workstations that make it really a lot easier. So I'm just gonna rock back and forth like this. And you could probably also grate this. I know that like grating versus chopping is completely different as far as taste goes, but the thing about Puttanesca is you're just putting things together. So I'm gonna keep doing this. It's gonna take me a while to get it as tiny as I would like it to be. I'm sure nobody really wants to bite into a giant chunk of garlic. Okay, all right, I'm gonna work on these and I will see you back here very soon. Hi guys, so this is the little food processor I was telling you about. You could also use a blender. I've done that before when I need to put more things in, and also it's less parts than a food processor, but I love this one, 20 pounds. Chopping that garlic with one hand was not the most fun time. This would have made it a lot easier, but like I said, I'm not using any shortcuts today. Just absolutely what I need to get this done. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is open some anchovy tins and chop anchovies. I think this is going to be very messy. All right, here we go. Okay, my very dear friend told me anything messy, do next to the sink, so that's what I'm doing. Okay, so we've got our tin here. It was a jar of anchovies, and I didn't want to do too many jarred things, but now that I have my trick, I don't know, I may have done it, but then you've got to get them out of the jar, and I think getting them out of the tin might be easier. Okay, so this, I'm just putting my middle finger down to pull that back, and that worked really well. Obviously this is really sharp and oily, so not the best thing in the world. I might just, okay, now I'm losing the leverage here. Okay, I think that might be as far as I can get it back safely without cutting myself on the tin. So I'm just gonna drain out some of the oil here. And the recipe calls for 2 tins. Now this recipe makes a lot of Puttanesca sauce. You don't have to make all of it. I've done half of the recipe before as well. But if you want leftovers, then, and who doesn't want leftovers, then that's really good. Okay, so now my hands are really oily. Oh, geez, this is gonna be harder. Oh my goodness. Be really careful, guys. Yeah, I see good things and bad things about using a tin versus a jar. It's very slippery now because my hands are so oily. Let me use my thumb and try and pull it back. Ah, okay, good. Let's get rid of some of that oil. I don't think I'm supposed to pour oil down the sink, but shh, don't tell anyone. Okay, I've got my chovies. I'm gonna take my chovies over to my cutting board. Okay, also my apologies for saying guys before, because I know we've got guys and gals. So everyone, I'll say everyone. Okay, everyone, I am now trying to get these anchovies out of the tin. I wanted to spare my fingers more oil, but I don't think that's happening. I think I'm gonna have to go ahead and use my fingers to get these out. Okay, I think if you pull them all out, because we do need both tins if we're following the whole recipe and not splitting it up. Take all of them out, there we go. Okay, that to the side, take all of these out. There we go. There we go. So now that that's done, I'm gonna rinse my hand off another time because then now I have to hold the knife. Okay, so we are going to rock it, move it. not so bad. So normally I would probably then go back over these and chop them up a little bit more, maybe rock over them like so. But they really will break down in the sauce as well. Now, I know some people really don't like anchovies, and you're saying to me, I can't do it. I think Rick Stein would probably throttle me, but you could probably use tuna instead, because tuna really goes well with all these flavors. The tomato, the capers, the garlic and olives. I think that you would be very fun to add some canned tuna instead of the anchovies. But if you've never had anchovies and you're just skeptical, I'm telling you, you really should try this recipe. And you don't have to use, you can use half as many anchovies. I love anchovies, so I am using all of them. But yeah, if you like salty things, then you'll like them. All right, this is like watching paint dry, I'm sure. So I'm gonna continue cutting the anchovies, and I'll see you at the next step. So I am taking off one sprig of rosemary and adding it to my plate of garlic. I'm just pinching off the leaves here. Okay, so I'm getting my sage out. 4 sage leaves, and it says torn. Okay, let's see. Okay, it's pretty easy to tear sage, so that's not too bad. I can just hold it down against the cutting board. I did have to flip over my cutting board because it was so oily from the anchovies. So if I had it to do over again, I would probably do those anchovies very, very last, because oil has just been all over my hands and all over the knife. They are very messy, but they're delicious. They're so worth it. Okay. So that's not too bad. All right, I'm gonna keep ripping these up. I ripped up the parsley with one hand. I attempted to cut it, but parsley is a little devil herb, and it really needs to be held down to cut it, so it's just easier to just rip it with my hands like this. And you need 1 tablespoon of that, so I just finished doing that. It's all right if it's in bigger pieces. And then I added that to our plate here. So I'm using dried oregano instead of fresh. The fresh calls for 2 tablespoons, but when you're using dried, you only need a teaspoon, right? That's because the flavor's a lot stronger. So dried, we use 1 teaspoon. So if it calls for 2 fresh, we need 2 dried. Okay, so 2 teaspoons of dried oregano. Okay, that's about good. Okay, right, the oregano goes in with this pile here. So I've got 2 little piles. So we need 1 more teaspoon of oregano. I mean, these herbs, I really didn't think they were going to give me so much trouble, but okay, that's all right. Looks good. Okay, and then, right, so salt and pepper, you don't really need much. I would say just a teeny little bit. There's some pepper in here. More of the chilies is what's more important. So I'm gonna just sprinkle a little bit here. It's got a really nice smell to it. Okay, and you know what? I love chilies. So even though I said I was only using that, I think, oh, it's a brand new jar. Okay, that's a lot easier than the capers were. So I'm gonna do another nice big sprinkling of chilies. we are really ready to rock and roll. This is the big part of the Puttanesca, and we have done it. All right, let's get cooking. Okay, so next thing, we are going to boil some water for the pasta. I know you all know how to put a kettle on. So we're going to fill the kettle up with water for the pasta. This way you don't have to carry the pan, which can be very heavy if you're holding the straight handle. This is just a lot easier to carry. I know most people watching this know that, but just in case there's someone who doesn't, this is just an easy way to do it. Okay, set it down, press on. All right, now we are going to start cooking. I have this for the Puttanesca. It's a deep saucepan or pan. I'm not a real chef. I should probably let you in on that little secret. So the deep pan, that's what we're using for the Puttanesca. And then this saucepan for the fusilli today. Or you can use fusilli like I'm going to do, or penne. I think fusilli is good because it'll get, like I said, that will catch the anchovies and capers. So I'll get the fusilli out with this, so I don't need to deal with boiling, scalding water. Okay. All right. You guys are gonna laugh. There's 4 tablespoons of olive oil in this because olive oil is delicious. Okay. So pour the olive oil. Whoa. And I'm pouring this in before I heat it up because this might take me some time and I don't want to get splattered. Whoa, 2. And I don't know, this could be something for your family and friends to try as well. Just so they know, I mean, doing it with one hand so they know just how difficult it is, things that you really take for granted. Just even the time that it takes to do these things with one hand. Okay, so we're gonna turn our light on here. Ooh, that's too high. Okay, I'm gonna get down to see this, I think. All right, and our kettle is done, so we're gonna go ahead and put the water in here. I'll put some salt in this as well to just help it boil. Okay, that's up. And our oil is heating up here. Now I'm going to open this fusilli. Great thing about this being cardboard is it's right here. I don't have to cut any plastic or worry about opening that. It's all ready for me. Dump this in here. Ooh, buddy. All right, I might have to do this with my hand now. Get these in. Okay. We just want these things to start getting brown a little bit, not too dark. So So we've got everything browning. You just cook it for about a minute, and then we're going to add all of this. Okay. So in the recipe, it does say to cut the tomatoes in half, but it's about your time, and you can do it. But they also really break apart nicely after you've broken them, so you can kind of just, as they soften, you can use a spatula or a metal spoon to break them up. And that's probably what I would do, just to save myself time so it's not more chopping, because as you can see, there's quite a few here. And to sit there rocking with the knife for a while seems tedious, and they really do break apart easy. So that's my advice. I'm gonna put my timer on for 10 minutes. Okay. Well, I'm gonna continue stirring and just rocking my spoon into these little tomatoes here and breaking them up. And I'll see you guys in 10 minutes. All right. Yeah, here we go. Okay, my head is all over the place because taking care of children and doing this. I forgot my black olives. Okay, so I had some extra black olives from a tapas night. I'm just gonna throw them in. Ooh, nice and oily there. All right. I'm just gonna put those in here. Okay, so I think we're good on this. We're gonna turn this down now. And we need to test our pasta. So I'm gonna take one and put it in the bowl. And I'm gonna take a bite. Yeah, that tastes very al dente to me. So I'm gonna turn off my hob. And since I'm just serving myself at the moment, make a little bowl. Just kidding. And if some pasta water gets in, that's fab. Don't even worry about it. It does not need to be completely strained. Take some of this nice sauce. I'm just making a little bowl because it's not really my tea time yet. All right, gotta try this. I should turn the camera around. Okay, I'm going to try the fruits of my labor now. Make sure I get a little bit of everything on the fork. Okay, here we go. It's one of my favorite recipes ever. It's really good. I'm very happy with this. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I hope you try to make some pasta puttanesca. And if you do, send us some pictures. And yeah, I can't wait to see everyone again. And just keep on keeping on. Okay, bye.